Women these days don't want to make food for their man. Tonight is part 2 of our series on love, dating, and relationships in 2021. Let's get live. Nah. Scratch that. Let's get Jumpoff live. I'm Jeremy JD Dorsey, and I'm joined by fellow Jumpoff live hosts Johnny Dangerous and DJ, aka that dude named Dave. We are also joined tonight by special guest, the amazing Dr. Zoe Stallings of Must Clinic in North Carolina, and from the channel Myk's Philippine Journey, YouTube star Myk E is jumping off with us tonight. We are live on YouTube. Search for Jumpoff Live and smash that subscribe button. Finally, we're also on Zingo TV. Big shout out to everybody on Zingo TV, channel 250. And with that out the way, all the particulars done. DJ, kick it off, sir.
Thanks for that nice intro, JD. And shout out to Jeff. He's not here. You know, he's part of Team Jumpoff. He's on a plane right now. So he's actually using probably my old service there, man. He's saying now. So shout out to the old go-go service for Aircell, company I used to work for.
It just ain't the same without him, but you know, we got a person.
Yeah, we got to pick up the torch and keep it going. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Jeff out there. We'll see you next week, bro. So tonight, I wanted to pick back up where we was at last week because it was very spirited, fellas. And my fellow doctor, lady, Dr. Zoe here as well. We were talking about last name and how it was possibly disrespectful to men and how women were thinking about this in this new modern day age of dating here. So we ran out of time. We might get back into it, but what I wanted to discuss tonight, everybody, and if you saw the thumbnail, you know, put that down the screen here. Make me a sandwich. Women, young or older, having issues cooking for their man. So I have a couple of comments that I have here, but I want to open up to the panel because I opened it up. I talked to JD and I talked to John and Myk and Dr. Zoe about cooking for your significant other. And do you find it disrespectful? You know, so let's kick it off. I started with Zoe first last week, but I want to pivot. I want to go to Myk this week here. Myk. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
put me on the spot, man.
Put me on the spot here. Yeah, you know, but you know, you have some strong ideas on this here. So, make me a sandwich, Myk. How do you feel about this?
Well, it's two ways, man. Like number one, it's like for me, wise, I enjoy cooking. I don't mind cooking for my woman. You know, that's something that I think that is an okay thing because as men, we know that a lot of men know for a fact that women are emotional, men are more physical. And you have to be able to please your woman. You have to be able to make sure you hit some emotional parts, and that's one thing is where you cook for your woman and be able to do that. But you're starting to get a lot of big pushbacks with these type of things. I mean, just the thought of make me a sandwich can trigger people, and I don't understand that when a sandwich is probably the most simplest thing to actually make in the kitchen, yet that's the one that's going to be triggering women sometimes, which it baffles me. I mean, I'm not asking you to make me a stew. I'm not asking you to make some, to cook me some, some, I don't know, some stir fry or something in the kitchen. I'm asking for a sandwich, 2 pieces of bread, lettuce, tomatoes, and whatever choice of meat. And that's my part. But I don't understand why people get triggered with that. And the last thing is that, I mean, come on, men are better cooks than women.
What?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's this take from Myk. I'm not mad.
You've done it.
I know.
Disclaimer.
Okay,
the thoughts of Myk are the thoughts of Myk and not
let's break it down
by the Jumpoff Live participants.
Name me 5 chefs that are women right now. Don't give me Paula Deen.
Rachel Ray.
Okay.
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart is no chef.
Hey, yes, she is.
She can make a hell of a prison ramen.
But see, Julia Childs is one of the most famous ones, exactly. But that's the thing. Who cooks the most? It's men. You don't see women in a barbecue pit making barbecue dinner, making barbecue and everything. Who are being champions of barbecue? There's nothing in regards. I'm saying I don't think that I know women can cook, but just look at the basic. I mean, look, women are gonna get mad if we ask them to go to a kitchen and make me a sandwich. But then when I all of a sudden say, let me go in the kitchen and cook something because I could, let me just cook it because you can't do it right anyways and you don't want to do it, then they get mad. Make a decision. Get mad at me to go to the kitchen or get mad at me for me asking you to go to a kitchen. And that's the thing. Like I said, I will cook for a woman. I know I can cook. That doesn't mean that I'm going to say to a woman I'm a better cook. But no, but that's the thing. It's just that I don't understand why a simple question of making me a sandwich are triggering women left and right. The fact that if you go online, you're going to see a bunch of articles about this. You're going to see videos about this. And it's a sandwich. That's just my thing. I don't, I'll let you be and let you guys respond to that.
I was not expecting that take from you, Myk. Ooh, about the being better cooks here. So I'm going to Dr. Zoe here because I feel the steam coming from your now over here. So what is your take from Myk here and about make me a sandwich?
So I personally like to cook. I cook for the household and I also cook as a stress reliever. So when I tell you that, and I've never heard, when you look at all the catalogs marketing stoves, I've never seen a grown man in there like on the cover of the catalog for a stove. Nobody thinks that men cook better than women. It's just not happening. It's like, yeah, Weber Grill, sure, you'll market to men. And that's the thing is that, the crack the beer with the teeth and you're pouring it on the meat. That might be the picture of a quintessential man because we're going back to the hunter-gatherer. But women are better cooks because we're nurturers and we pay attention and we finesse the meal. So women are better cooks. And on top of that, that's our domain. I can name 3 or 4 different kinds of mustards. Men are like, that's just mustard, right? There's sherry.
Make me a sandwich.
Right. But women understand some of the nuances because we're the ones they're marketing to. We're the ones that are buying the appliances, the KitchenAid. But when I think about it as make me a sandwich, and I understand some women are feeling as though it's the assumption that I'm not your peer, right? So if I work like you do, and I know that we talked about feminism last time, but if I'm your peer and, I work like you did, and now you're like, now on top of being a woman who has to hold her own financially and do all these other things. And we talked the last time about the last name, and this is building on that because that adds to that controversy. But I went to work too, and I'm coming home and I should go make you a sandwich. I should go make you the sandwich. What about the collective? So in a lot of ways, I do like to take care of my man. I want to make sure he's fed because I think that's a reflection of me as a woman. How he looks, his appearance, his apportment is important to me. But I understand too, some women feeling frustrated that I should be all those things and then come home and still make you a sandwich. Oh, and you could extrapolate that. I should be all those things and then come home and still meet your physical needs, still listen to your day and your emotional needs. It's a lot on women. So in a lot of ways, the whole make me a sandwich is bigger than just the bread. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about the sandwich. It's about the supposition that I ain't got nothing else to do but sit around now and make you a sandwich after the long day. So that's my take on it.
You got as though I would counter, but I'm gonna hold back for a second before I go to John here. Hey, everybody, get them likes up. All right. If you ain't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Y'all know you're liking what we're talking about here. So like and subscribe. Come on, man. Click. It's 1 second. It's right there. All right, now, John. You over there, the chair is going,
it's
back.
Squibbling.
I feel dangerous right now. What you got for me, brother?
Man, look, I usually like to yield and let everybody say what they, gotta say. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see everybody typing away and they got their opinions. We appreciate y'all. Shout out to my wife. My wife popped up and said she enjoyed cooking for a man. This is the way I look at a man getting a meal. And we're talking about the simplicity of a sandwich. We talk about 2 pieces of bread, right? Little mustard, little mayo, a piece of meat, maybe some cheese, some lettuce, or just as simple as a BLT, bacon, lettuce, and tomato, right? That's nothing. That's lightweight. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Zoe, I get it. See, we always got to make sure that people understand the Dr. Zoe is a doctor. So your profession is significantly essential and different from most, but not to discredit any other woman's profession at all. But we know your schedule is a little unorthodox, so to speak. So I get it from your perception. A sandwich is the minimum a man should be able to get. I look at a sandwich to be as equivalent as if you're seeing a man and he's able to kiss you good, he deserves a sandwich, right? At least a sandwich when he wants. If he's able to kiss you good, if he gives you a good hug and gives you that warmth, that feeling of security, he deserves a sandwich whenever he wants. If that man, this is just Johnny Dangerous's beliefs and my beliefs alone, if that man is taking care of business at home, whether it be in the kitchen, in the bedroom, in the laundry room, in the car, in the attic, in the basement, in the media room, wherever he puts down his business, his meal should be equivalent to what he's able to give that woman. My wife is more than happy to make me a meal. And I can say, even when my schedule was crazy, unorthodox, getting off at 2 o'clock in the morning, coming home 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be able to get a full cooked meal if I wanted to. Why? Because I put in work outside and inside the home. And so a sandwich is lightweight. It's nothing. If you kiss good, you should be able to get a sandwich as a man. If you provide for your family, if you're working hard, you should be able to get a sandwich, some chips, something to drink, and that should be at any time of the day. But if you're putting it down at home, you deserve a meal, a real meal, a man's meal, any time of the day or night. That's my opinion.
Man, John, I thought you were doing a commercial for Hearty Meaty TV dinners at the end there. Oh man, meaty meal. That was man. I don't know. I got something to say on that too, but I see JD's head. He's on a swivel right now. I see JD on a swivel right now, man. John, that was sick. What you got, JD?
Man, this is a topic that I feel strongly about. First off, I don't need anybody making me anything. I'm not asking you to make me something. I'm not demanding that you make me a sandwich. I'm not going to force you to make a sandwich by withholding something else. A relationship is about each person in the relationship taking on responsibilities, whether that is making a sandwich, whether that is being a breadwinner in the family, whether that's taking care of the kids, whether that's cutting the grass, whether that's emptying the garbage. Whatever it might be, it is about roles and the way that you each divide those roles amongst yourself. I don't care whether it was coming from, a place of kindness. I'm not going to demand my girlfriend to go make me a sandwich. In turn, if she wants to offer and make me a sandwich, okay, that's cool. But I mean, me personally, I don't like that. I grew up in a family where my mom took care of my dad. I never heard my dad demand for her to make dinner. She just did it. I also seen other relationships of people in thinking of a prior relationship that I had where the men in the family, and I can even speak on my family, the men in the family sit back and wait for the women to make their plates. Get out of here with that. I'm sorry. I can't. I don't like that. I don't want anybody waiting on me hand and foot. I'm not going to sit there. Okay, if I'm hungry, I'm not sitting at the table and just going to kick it back and just wait. Oh, she about to make my food right now. So I'm just going to wait for her to come and bring it over to me. Get out of here. Get up and fix your own food. That's to me, that's being less of a man by me having to sit there and wait and have somebody wait on me. Like, what do I look like? I'm a grown ass man with 2 functioning legs and 2 arms and 2 hands. I can go make my own stuff. I don't need somebody else to come there and do it for me. I mean, I take pride in the fact that I'm not going to ask her to do that. I take pride in the fact that I can do this myself. So for everybody who feels like, the woman got to sit back or she got to, wait on the man hand and foot, get out of here with that, man. I disagree with all y'all who feel like that.
Wow.
Man.
So there.
Wow. Okay.
So real quick, before you say something, I just want to
go ahead.
What you said makes absolute sense. Coming from the perspective of a man making a woman do something. First of all, a real man doesn't make a woman do anything. You create and inspire. And this is not to combat what you said. but I want to create I want people to understand the difference. That a real man can inspire a woman to want to do those things for him, just like a woman can inspire a man to want to do certain things for her without her even asking. And that's how it is in my household. It's not, hey, it's my way or the highway. We inspire each other to want things. My wife knows what I like. She knows that I like to have meals, home cooked meals. She knows that. She gets pleasure in giving me my desires and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? But any man that calls himself or thinks he's a man because he makes a woman do something, that's not the definition of a man. And I agree with you on that, JD. You don't make a woman do anything. Everything that someone does for each other, I've learned that serving other people leads to greatness. So if you serve each other in your household, whatever that way is, everybody's love language is different. If you're serving each other, then it's a mutual thing, and that other person is inspired to give you what you desire. And I appreciate when to be able to sit down and my woman brings me a plate or whatever. She's traditional in that manner. So I get that. What you said made sense though, JD. I just wanted to give that other perspective. Dave.
Man, interesting here. Before I get started again, get them likes up, people. Come on, click like, just click subscribe. You know who you are. Go ahead, just click it. It takes a few seconds. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to a couple of points. So number one, Myk is right. Men are the better cooks, and in my family, we throw it down. I got skills. I got them things. It doesn't matter if it's a stove or if it's a grill. Hey, when it comes to the Jordan Newell side of the family, brothers throw it down. And the women are crazy, killer cooks. But we over here, man, you don't want the smoke over here, Zoe.
We need to have a cook-off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What kind of cook-off? You name it. It don't matter the cuisine, baby. You know what I'm saying? Yo, it don't matter if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It don't matter if it's pork chops or vegetables, scampies, either steaks, whatever. Grill. So just want to put that out there. Okay. Yeah, men are the best cooks. Anyways, so how do I feel about this here? I was going down the Facebook rabbit hole again seeing all the comments, and I am not seeing any men wanting to say anything about this here, because most of the comments that I was seeing, family, check this out. I am not a slave. Sounded kind of similar to a few things I'm about to get down here. I worked all day. What are you doing? I've been slaving. I've been doing all my things here. You go ahead and wasn't you saying something like that, Zoe? That you work all day too, and here's what I want to ask about that here, Zoe. Taking out the garbage. No one tells me to do that, right? I just go ahead and do it, right?
I take out the garbage.
No. Stay on course here. Stay on course. No one tells me to take out the garbage, right? Like if you have a man in the house, you're married, and then the garbage gets taken out, that happens. You look at it, gets done, right? Okay. The lawn needs to get cut. You don't say anything about that, right? He goes ahead and do it, right? If he wants a glass of lemonade, you'll give him a glass of lemonade. He shouldn't have to ask for it. If he's cutting the grass, should bring it out to him. Here's a lemonade, baby, because we all working.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So when I see the comments and I have 2 feet, I've been working all day too. You make me feel like I'm a slave. What about the man here? We working. We putting in that work. We fathers too. We providers. We doing what we do. And you know what? As much as saying that, yo, can I get a sandwich? And there was a video that I was watching that said, you even asked me that? That is so disrespectful. It's disrespectful to ask the woman who I want to spend the rest of my life with. The greatest thing that you could have done, we talked about last week, is taking my last name and you giving me my seed, and I can't get a damn sandwich. Come on, people. Where we at here? Where we at here? Is it really that, or do we have a bigger issue? Do we have a bigger issue? And I want to ask the health professionals here from Myk E and Zoe here. Well, we're seeing a lack of women who don't know how to cook, right? I want to throw that out there, and I know I'm laying the bomb. Let's see here. Let's go with Myk first here. Myk ain't talking in a while, so Myk, and then we'll go to Zoe. Okay, so lack of cooking and health cooking too.
Yeah, just to put some context in my comment earlier on. So, in regards to my comment early on, I'm not saying that I'm not going to get up and make myself a sandwich. And actually, to be honest, it should not even get to the point of a man having to ask a woman to make him a sandwich. It just shouldn't be that way. It's the same thing as a man serving his woman, taking care of her as well at home. Okay. The thing that goes with that is just that why is it that women, when they hear "make me a sandwich," they take it automatically as I'm enslaving them or I'm putting them under my feet and stuff like that? It's nothing with that. Plus, also, it's "make me a sandwich." Maybe I did not put the please, but how many times do women ask men something without adding the please to it as well? It's the way it's said in the context, but a man should not even say that stuff already as it is. But, going to, what they've said in regard for, the cooking wise. So, I mean, but just to add to what David said, what is it in regards for house duties that guys don't do as well? Like Dr. Zoe, you said something like, when you said something earlier about you work also. And Dave said, well, the guys also work, right? We both are working, right? So I understand that stuff. So whoever can make it. But here's my thing with that. What jobs in the house that a woman does that only a woman can do, but a man can't?
None.
Not a single thing. Now let's go ahead and talk about what are things or housework stuff that only men can do that women cannot do.
None.
Do you see women climbing ladders, changing batteries of the smoke alarms?
It ain't the fact that they can. They might not, but they can.
There you go. That's the term right there. Is they can. They can. But still, it's the man's duty to do that stuff. That's the big problem there. You're not going to see women going out there. If there's a man in the house, you don't see a woman telling a man to, a woman's not going to go, I'm going to mow the lawn today, honey. You're not going to see that stuff. Anything manly duties are not going to be done by women because there are certain things of expectations. And, I just want to be able to bring it to that part. But, just anyways, I went off a little bit. Dave, what's the main question so I can answer that?
Well, you dropped a bomb there. So, Zoe, did you want to comment on that, or did you want to comment on my question here? Because that was loaded. So I don't want to intimidate you. That was
no. I really think that you brought up expectations, because it's not that a woman. Now, I can change light bulbs because I used to spend time hanging out with my dad, who is a welder, and always helping him, handed him tools, and so I learned a few things from hanging out with my father and my two brothers. But I will say, my man doesn't want to see me do any of that stuff, right? Even though I can do it, I choose not to do it because he will feel a way. If he sees me doing that, he's gonna be like, put that down. So in a lot of ways, it's the expectation now, right? So now, if you're doing that, what's my role? So it becomes an issue of women have to also learn to make space for a man in their life, because expectation will be that I'm going to do these things because that's how I see myself having a role. And maybe a woman might have to communicate to her man what she needs, because maybe it'd be easier for a woman to say, bring in a handyman because I really want you to spend time with me going to church. Sometimes we misread what we need, because for me, I've heard other women say, I don't want to come home and make a sandwich because I just feel like I've been given to people all day. So maybe if that man understood that, what he could do is he could say, hey, babe, I know you've been doing this. Let's hang out in the kitchen and cook together. Let's spend time together. But if the expectation is after I've been given, I've heard a lot of women say, when I've been given all day, when I get home, I have nothing left. That's the woman who's running on fumes, because she's putting out her best foot forward, especially for the women that got a code switch. Shout out to the women who have to code switch all day, who have to say, oh, don't touch my hair. The women who are literally dealing with microaggressions, when they get home, one more thing. And it's not that simple, right? Because at the same time, a man will say, make me a sandwich with no directives. I don't know what you want on your sandwich. Now I got to think about, does he want peanut butter? I don't know. You want meat? I mean,
you know most of peanut butter, Zoe. Don't give me that crap.
But that right there is all about the emotions and the feelings.
Yeah,
you added something instead of saying, oh, I don't want to. I don't know if you want this. I don't want you. Simple question: what kind of sandwich do you want?
But just tell me then.
So there's only ham and Wonder Bread on top of the fridge. Put some mayonnaise on it and bring up a plate, baby. Let's watch Blackish.
But that's what I'm saying. Remember, women. Yes, I admit that women do get emotional, and especially when we're fatigued, we all get tired. But my question is, when I get home, I like to cook. I'm a meal prepper. I like to cook.
That's awesome.
And so there will always be food. If you see my pantry, you think I've shown my pantry on Instagram. Check out Dr. Zoe's pantry. It's stocked. But what I like to do is I like to be in the presence of my man, because one of my love languages is acts of service. It's actually all of them, like I said last time. But I do like quality time. So I don't want you watching Law and Order and now I'm making this sandwich to bring it to you. I don't feel like you're spending time with me. I'd rather us talk about how our day was going. And then, while I'm getting the bread and I'm sitting here like, what's up, honey? How was your day? Oh, let's get this sandwich together. But don't tell me, don't leave me to go get this thing for you while you unwind by yourself waiting for this sandwich. It needs to be, let's spend time together. Let's cook together. Taste this. Do you think it needs more salt and cayenne pepper? Ooh, okay, I like that. Let it be something where we unwind together, because that's what I need. I'm running low too. It's not just, you.
Absolutely.
I completely agree with that. But then also it goes to the part is that who are the typical people that are complaining about these type of things, right? And so one thing is, your cultural background is completely different than the average American woman, right? And that's the biggest problem that I think is there. It's like the majority is sometimes making the minority a little bit whatever. I mean, with your cultural background is completely different. So that's why, who's going to work 60 hours a week, come home and still cook for their man, or at least be part of it. It's not gonna be the normal typical stuff. You're gonna have your Latinas, you're gonna have your Caribbean women, you're gonna have your Asian women. These people are also working in the United States of America 60, 70 hours a week, but they do go home and they still want to be able to make sure that a full meal is prepped. I think it's just also depending on regards for the type of culture that the person lived in. Just like you said, you grew up with a father and two brothers, and you were able to see how men act. And so henceforth, at the same time, is because of that upbringing, you were among men, you, in a way, absorbed what men actually needs, and you provided that. So that's why you have that background. And I think a lot of women, and also men in regards, just to be honest, I'm not going to say that men shouldn't be yelling at women and stuff like that. That's completely wrong. I think that's total BS. I don't think a man should yell at a woman to make me a sandwich. The amount of energy that a man yells at a woman to make me a sandwich, he could have gone to the kitchen and made himself a sandwich.
Made two of them.
I don't want to say it like I'm like, no, make me a sandwich. I would never say that to a woman. I think that is completely freaking wrong, and a guy is disrespectful to do that. But I think it's just that a lot of women stop learning about how to handle the home. Now remember what Dave was asking. The thing though is why a lot of women don't know what to do at a home no more is because you're not taught home economics like they used to during the 60s, during the 70s, even in the early 80s.
True.
Home ec is no longer required for women to learn. And I think men should learn how to cook as well. You go to the Philippines, you go to the Latin countries, they learn to be wives at a young age. They learn how to be able to sew. I mean, I've dated half a dozen women that I can cross stitch better than they can. And sewing up and hemming up. I can cross stitch. I can use a serger. I used to make my own scrubs from scratch because I hated how scrubs were made back in the days. I sewed my own scrubs and I actually sold them and made money doing it as well. So that's the biggest thing, is that women are unfortunately not taught home economics anymore, or are not around a woman or a man that actually shows her that this is what she needs to do to take care of a household. And it's unfortunate.
I want to add to that home economics. Let's teach the men out here where I'm at. So I don't know if you was in that class, Mikey, but yeah, they did teach the guys out here as well. So that could contribute to our good cooking skills.
Man, did y'all know that 1 out of 33 men that's dating women, 1 out of 33 statistically, do not get a sandwich?
Damn it.
1 out of 30, only 1 out of 33 men get a sandwich. Statistically speaking, that was a Johnny Dangerous fact, by the way. hey, I'm gonna tell you, I love my brother JD. What you said earlier made absolute sense, man. Given I was reading what Katie Joe was saying, in a previous relationship, she stated that the guy was always demanding demanding this, demanding that. Just echoing what Mike said as well. No man should be demanding anything. You shouldn't be demanding. If you have to demand, control, use any type of aggression to get what you want, man, you're losing. You ain't doing something right. And a lot of men, unfortunately, thinks that's what makes them a man. Their aggression, their presence of you gonna do what I say, or it's gonna be no way. No, that's totally not the way to go. And as nice as my brother JD is, he probably the only one that would go to a restaurant and order his food and go back to in the kitchen and be like, hey, I don't want you to cook it. I'm gonna cook this for me. Damn it. You ain't go have a seat, sit at my table. I'm gonna cook it, I'm gonna bring it out. When I'm done cooking, you come back in the kitchen and I sit down and I'll eat it. JD probably the only one to do that, man, because he's just a loving guy. But yeah, man, I think we, just going back to what Mike was saying about the women's in the 70s and 80s, we've kind of moved away from not traditional way of thinking, but the simplicity of what women did to get a man. Every woman knows that the way to a man's heart starts right here in his stomach. That ain't changed, man.
Are you sure about that?
Whoa.
Maybe slightly below.
JD, do you like to eat? Do you like to eat? Okay.
Hey, they got a hey JD, they got a saying, right? Keep the belly full and them loins drained.
Man, that's the second part of it. That's the second. If you can do those two things, you can work through everything else. I'm telling you, even for skinny guys, man. Hey, there's a lot of skinny guys that like big women. Big women throw down in the kitchen, boy. They throw down in the kitchen. Get them skinny man food. Just think about it. We moved away from the simplicity of the things that get me. And a lot of times when a woman first started dating a man, what she do? When she feel comfortable enough, she invite him to her house. And what does she do? She cook for that man. Even if she don't invite him to the house, she might make him a plate and send him to work with a plate. Man, it's those simple things that make such a big movement in a man. You know what I'm saying? Figuratively and literally. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I think a lot of it is everybody equates this making of a sandwich as being like the be all end all, because it's like, oh, I'm hungry, I need something to eat. What it is an act of love for someone. Would this person do this for me because they know that I need it? I don't think that it's necessarily all about the sandwich. It's about, will this person provide for me? Will this person care for me? Will this person see that I need something and give me that because I need it? Personally, like I said, I could care less about the sandwich, but you can't be in a relationship with someone and expect them to be the ones that are always giving. It has to be that 100%, that 50-50, that give and take at all times. And if that give and take isn't there, they're not bringing you a sandwich. You're not getting what you need in bed. They're not gonna do it. Nobody's gonna do the housework. Like, you all just gonna be staring at each other, pissed off the entire time. And what kind of relationship is that? So what I feel like the most important, the crux of this is that when there's a need that needs to be met, that need needs to be met, regardless of who's meeting in it, regardless of what was the conversation behind it. Like Katie said about, putting together the bed last night and I was cooking. I love to cook. That's something that I discovered, kind of late in life. And it brings me, like Zoe was saying, it brings me a lot of joy to be able to cook and provide, to have that meal and give that to somebody and see that they like something that I sat there and prepared and took the time out of my day in order to make. So by doing that, that's one of my acts of kindness for someone.
That's what's up.
And when you have those types of things, and if you know that, hey, that person might not be, the person I'm in a relationship might not be the best cook, but they can provide this, and this.
Absolutely.
You have to be able to recognize those things. So if you are focused on, she not making me a sandwich, odds are you focus on the wrong thing. And if you are upset because she's not making you a sandwich, you either need to check yourself or you need to check the person you with.
Preach. It's all about balance, right?
The balance.
Hey, let me ask y'all something real quick. and this is what irks me. Have you guys, not getting off the subject or anything, but have you guys ever gone to like a gas station and seen a guy sitting in the passenger seat while the woman is either pumping gas or putting air in the tire? I've seen that, and that cat deserves no sandwich.
Oh my
She don't
God.
deserve nothing.
For real.
Have y'all ever seen that? And how do y'all feel about it?
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
How do you know he doesn't have back problems though? Maybe he had surgery.
I've seen that several times. Like, I don't understand. Like, in that, yeah, I've seen it so many times, and that's the thing. I think there's a lot of reversals going on in a lot of different things, and I think that's what it is in a way. Like, there are some progress in certain things, of certain changes that I do believe that there has to be in regards to how things are seen, but sometimes, yeah, I mean that those type of guys, yeah, they don't deserve a freaking sandwich. But just for the fun of it, let's do this, guys in the chat. When's the last time a woman cooked for you or even made you a sandwich? I want you guys to type it down right now. Tell me when the last time somebody actually cooked for you or made you a sandwich that's a woman. Just curious. Give me months or give me years.
Or your significant other. We are all inclusive on this channel, sir.
Yeah. Don't get in trouble, though.
You're right.
Don't get in trouble.
I'm sorry. He, she, they, NX, Jex, whatever, all the other stuff that you want to be able to use. Type it down below. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't say nothing to get yourself in the doghouse and you be blaming it on the Jumpoff Live. Don't do that. You know.
Right. You never know who's watching.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys know where to find me. just curious.
And by the way, too, I think women are incredible cooks. I don't do much cooking. I make up for it in other ways, but my wife does. She cooking a hot meal right now that's waiting for me. But women, there's some incredible males and women cooks out there. I really can't say that men are better cooks than women, because most of the people I know that cook great are women. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my opinion.
You know, when I listen to your appreciation, you know, Johnny, I think a woman would want to cook for somebody who's that appreciative, right? So I think that the cooking is symbolic of the communication as well. Because trust me, I like to cook, but you believe me, if I'm mad, it will show in the meal as well.
Let me add some paprika to that sucker right there.
It's like, what is this? It comes out in the emotion in the meal, but a lot of women, sometimes it's almost. I was having a conversation with someone about the movie Acrimony. I don't know if you've seen it. I normally don't watch a lot of Tyler Perry movies, but that movie.
That is the worst Tyler Perry movie of all time.
How are we friends then?
Look, Tyler Perry sucks. That's all I can say right now.
And for the crowd here, if you've never seen it, don't
waste your time, huh?
Don't waste it. Hey, unless you want to put a bullet in your private parts.
There are.
This
is what I say.
Hey.
This is what I would say.
I didn't curse.
I would say that when I watched that movie, the central theme was how bitter folks can get, right? And sometimes when women reflect, I had a guy, I remember I made him cornmeal porridge. If y'all don't know about Jamaican cornmeal porridge, it's amazing. And we broke up and I felt like, damn, I made him cornmeal porridge. I want that cornmeal porridge back. I mean, I felt played, right? I cooked my best stuff. So, so sometimes, you know, when you're making meals for a man, it also needs to be a certain kind of man. That needs to be established. You're not just going to cook for the dude that you just kicking it with, or the jump off. You want to cook for the guy who is settled. You're in a consistent relationship where you're communicating and there is reciprocity. He likes you and you like him, and we've talked about it. We know who we are to each other.
Absolutely.
So the cooking to me is a very symbolic thing. If I'm cooking for you, you're in there.
Absolutely.
So if I'm making you a sandwich, I need to, you know, when you say make me a sandwich, if we are just cool and I make you a sandwich, I'm making you, this comedian once said, if you just start dating a woman, she makes you a sandwich, that's what the last dude ate. Because she doesn't know you to know how you like your sandwich. You're eating the last dude's sandwich. Wow. So what we kind of remember is we're learning about each other. This is how relationships work. And even if you've been together 7 years, 8 years, you're still learning. It's a journey. a part of that is the communication. And when you see that a woman doesn't want to make you a sandwich or is not inspired to make you a sandwich, check yourself. Start with you. Damn, man, she can't even make me a sandwich.
Absolutely.
What am I doing wrong? What could I do better? But if a woman is like David said, you're mowing the lawn, you should be getting that lemonade. You take the lawnmower out on a Saturday, the picture has already been made.
That's right.
Like the glass is ready. You're going to get that lemonade because you're doing things for me to take the load off of me, right? And that's how relationships should work. It's that dance. What I think happens in a lot of times, and I think we talked about it before when we talked about the bonnets. That was one of my favorite shows. But the bonnets conversation brought up the idea of, because I now have to advocate for myself because so many men have been somewhat emotionally and psychologically castrated, and I got to be the man and the woman. You make me a damn sandwich. I'm over here holding it down. So sometimes it creates that dynamic of competition in the household, and that's what we want to remove. I think that's what's jeopardizing all of our healthy relationships is when we compete with who gets the lead and who's the alpha and the beta, and it's a struggle. So that's my little say on that.
I'm glad you said that, Zoe, because in a marriage, in a relationship, it cannot be a competition. You cannot have two pilots. You have the pilot and the co-pilot. You have the driver and the passenger seat. Both people cannot have their hands on the wheel at the same time. You know what's going to happen? That bad boy's going to go into that tree and split that car in half because I want to turn here. I want to turn here. You're fighting for it. No, it can't be that way. We got to have our roles, and we got to be assigned to those roles, whether we like it or not. You know, maybe every once in a while, you got to get in that passenger seat just here and there. But both people can't be on the wheel. You know, and here's the thing, too. Why are we competing? Why are we competing?
Good point, Dave.
I chose you. You chose me. What's the competition for? It's one thing we playing Scrabble. You know, I'm trying to get that 8-letter word. But, you know, we in this every day. I see you come home at night. We got to raise these kids. We got to get these bills together. We're trying to build something here. And I got to come home and fight with you? I've been fighting in corporate America all day. So we shouldn't be doing that. You know, that's the main thing that I'm glad you brought that up, Zoe, is the fact that competition in here, because we shouldn't have that. It should be selflessness here.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, you know? The door is the reset button. Whatever happens outside, when you walk in that door, whatever happened outside should not be brought inside. It shouldn't be like, I did this all day. You know, the moment the door opens and you walk in that door, it's a reset. It means that it doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter what I experience at work, whatever. It's a reset. I'm at home. All right, who's home first? And the thing, though, is it's conversation, communication, right? The thing, though, is we don't have that anymore in a lot of relationships, right? This whole thing is like, have an agreement. Whoever's home first makes food.
That's
now,
good.
You know, now the thing, though, is who doesn't want to come home early no more is the big problem, right? So it's still about communication and that stuff. And the next thing is, like, a lot of people have this whole conception of just meet me halfway. And it baffles me. Because there's no such thing, because not every person is 100% always. Mm-hmm. And if you expect people to meet you halfway and everyone's at 90 that day, you guys won't see eye to eye. It shouldn't be a tick for tat. Give me, I'll do this for you. It should just give completely without expectation of anything in return. You know, that's just where it should be when it comes to relationships. I've learned it through my mistakes. Sucky way to learn is through mistakes. But that's the thing, is I think people just ran out of ideas on how to communicate properly. They never learned it. That's one of the biggest problems. But, you know, just jumping in like earlier, just talking about food, just because since that's the topic. So there's women out there that's not going to cook for their man until she knows that he's the one. Is that how it is?
Until you're at least you know, somewhat committed.
So, but they'll spread their legs, but not cook them the good food?
No, I'm saying until there's at least, I'm not saying all women, because some women will be like, they'll sleep with a man, but don't
cook at all.
Or his last name. There are different kinds of levels, but I know that for me, if I really have to get to a point of feeling that connection and that we're going to a certain place for me to cook for you.
Sure. Of course.
It's like water for chocolate over here with me.
Hey, wait a minute.
It's got to be at a certain level before the cornbread porridge is
but I
pulled out.
That's right. The cornmeal porridge with the condensed milk and the cinnamon sticks. You can't get that. It's baby fellas.
I feel something here, John. Wait a minute. So are we saying here that
food is more valuable than the,
Yeah, but
The WAP.
but women are giving the WAP over the food.
like I can get that. Right, I can get all this stuff. I can get you like flipping and flopping, whatever you need to do.
Okay, yeah, let's.
But I can't get the freaking best meal that your mom's recipe that she passed down, that she got from great grandma, from the great grandma and stuff like that. I can't get that, but I can get the most prized possession that I thought that every woman is supposed to protect.
Now we on to something here, Mikey. Now we on to something here. So, man, JD, I know you got something on that. Come on, I can get the WAP, but I can't get this plate.
I mean, hey,
come on, let's go there.
Come on, JD. I know you got what you
Come
got.
over this flop.
Ouch.
yeah,
And
I
that's
mean,
on both sides. That's on both sides.
if the WAP is bad and the food is bad, that's
oh man,
that's not a good combination. You got to be able to do one or the other. But personally, and like I said, I always tend to speak. I call myself I like to bring people together. So when you have a situation like this and you have all I can speak on this subject is how I would raise my daughter. And if it came down to my daughter and whether she was giving it up or if she's going to cook, I'm going to ask her to cook. You know what I mean? I want her to be able to be in a good relationship that is going to have her wanting to cook before we even get to these points where sex is involved. Because I feel like, personally, like I always say, I feel like the second that sex gets involved in things, everything else becomes clouded. Those relationship roles can shift. You can lose track of who you are if it's good. You can hate everything else if it's bad. Like, I mean, it changes everything. And once you throw the dimension of sex into a relationship, everything is different from that point on. So you have to be, I think those roles need to be set before it comes to that point. Yeah, there's going to be that attraction. Yeah, there's going to be that physical part of you that wants to express yourself. It's so hard to speak like PC on this stuff, but
let it out, man. Let it out.
Yeah,
I'll say that for after 8 o'clock.
Hey, JD, if you got hate in your heart, just let it out.
I don't. It's no hate. It's all love, man. It's all love, baby.
I'm Clayton.
Life is good, like the has say. So, but yeah, if it was my daughter and I had a situation where she was asking me for relationship advice, I'm going to tell her that if he's giving you his all, you need to give him your all. And I think that's the bottom line. You have too many people who are giving half and only wanting to go halfway in. If you can't go all the way in, you don't need to be in a relationship with that person. If that person doesn't inspire you to want to go all in, you are in the wrong relationship. It took me a long time to figure that out. I'm at a point now where I have somebody who's willing to go all in for me, and it makes me want to go all in for her. Mm-hmm. And when you discover that,
it's beautiful.
Like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I used to sit all the time. I used to see relationships with people, and I would see, that 70-year-old couple, they've been together for 55 years of their life, and they sitting at a restaurant, and they're holding hands, and they're talking about their day, and you can tell how much they love each other. Like, I see those relationships, and I was like, man, how does that work? But now that I'm in a relationship where I can envision myself being like that, 50 years from now, I understand. Now, I've also seen the flip side of that, where you got couples who sitting at, whatever restaurant, and they both looking at their phone, not paying attention to anything that the other person got to say. They not even talking to each other. What is that? What is that? If I need to pick up my phone during the time where I'm out to dinner with my girlfriend, there's something going on. There's a problem, because that should be about some time that you guys had together. Any point in time, I can look at this phone right here, my old ass Note 5. I can look at this Note 5 whenever I want to. But if I can't set aside 20, 30 minutes to an hour to be with the person who I'm supposed to be spending the rest of my life with, and I need to have this distraction in my face, there's a problem with that, man. There's a problem. There's a problem with a lot of people's relationships. And if you can't find that person who is going to provide you these things, and if you sit back and you question whether that type of person exists, like I did, you're with the wrong person.
I mean, it makes perfect sense. Yeah, that was amazing, man. And that's the thing also. But see, it all goes, so we talk about communication so many times, but I think, and Dr. Zoe talked about it, doing something for somebody because he's the person, he's worth it and stuff like that. After communication, after all that stuff, before all that stuff, I'm sorry, it's just that I think people are choosing the wrong people and just hoping and praying of the possibility what this man is gonna happen. Because for guys, if it's about, men are just always gonna be physical. Yes, we do want something more, but the thing though is what gets us in the door is the physical aspect of things. And just like you explained, in the beginning there's that honeymoon phase, and when you're stuck at getting some good stuff, the guys are not gonna want to leave at first until, and it's over for them until once they realize, like, man, this is the wrong situation I'm in and I'm stuck on it. And I'm guilty myself of being with women longer than I should be because it was just good. Or should I say it was great and amazing. And Dave's met several of my girls who fits that category.
Hey, Hey, I'm
so
this right here. I'm gonna give Mikey his flowers right now if you see his resume.
So the thing with that is that's the most unfortunate thing. But yeah, it's just, I think people are choosing the wrong, before you have problems with the sandwich stuff, which shouldn't be a problem, because if the woman sees you as the person that she wants to be with, she will automatically take care of what needs to be taken, make up for what you lack.
Yeah.
And I think that's
that way.
And so unfortunately with that, it's just that goes from the beginning. People are choosing the wrong people from the beginning and hoping and praying it's gonna happen and they're gonna change. Women like a bad boy and hoping that they're gonna become a good boy. It's never gonna happen. And then some men think that a woman is gonna be from the streets, and then all of a sudden she's gonna be a homebody woman, which is not gonna happen. And so I don't know. That's my assessment of that.
In defense of Dr. Zoe, that made a lot of sense what you just said, Mike. Man, I'm loving all the perspectives we're getting here tonight. Dr. Zoe, you were talking about, what was the meal that you mentioned of the pudding?
Corned beef porridge.
Okay, so a lot of people, if you never had, if you never had Jamaican food, you wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand. I had the experience of having rum chicken when I was in 6th grade for the first time. Rum chicken in 6th grade. So I understand the flavors, the process, the love, the history, the inspiration, the fire behind that type of meal. I get that. And correct me if I'm wrong, you've probably shared those kind of meals with men who that down the line you learn didn't even deserve a morsel, as Morbus would say, a morsel of that type of food. And you look back and you're like, damn, I done made him this, I gave him rum chicken, I done made him, this and that, you know what I'm saying? He tasted all of that. My best cooking, he shouldn't even have got a damn sandwich, So I get it. It's a lot of women that probably feel that way too. Like, man, I cook for this, you know what I'm saying? And it's a risk. It's a gamble, if you will. Relationships is a gamble. You don't really get to know a person until you get to know a person. But we always want to think the best of people up front. We want to think the best of people and want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But sometimes in life, it takes time. It takes development to realize whether a person was worth it or not. And then once we realize that they weren't worth it, we look back and then we have these regrets. I would like to encourage everybody, especially single people that's out there dating and whatnot and meeting different people. Don't hold back being your best with fear of giving your best to someone who doesn't deserve it. Man, that's the life that we live in. It's all about risk. We take risk every day. When you wake up in the morning and walk outside your door, you take a risk. When you jump behind the wheel and drive next to these crazy drivers, you stand in your lane and they cutting you off and they doing all different things. They in your lane and in everybody's lane. You take a risk. That's what life is all about. And I want to encourage women specifically. Don't hold back on giving your best because you're worried that because of these last dudes didn't measure up, they didn't cut it when you gave them the best of you, that this next guy is going to be the same way. That next guy might be that guy, and you hold back, and he knows you're holding back, and he giving you his best. Oh, he wants to give you his best, and y'all find yourself holding back your best, and you end up missing out on each other. The opportunity of having an incredible life. Life is full of risk and gambles, and you have to be willing to take those risks in order to gain the rewards of it at the end, to gain something beautiful like JD has. You know what I'm saying? I mentioned JD because he has the most recent relationship, and I to see him as happy as he is and to hear him speak the way he speaks makes me feel good, because that's my brother and I love him, and the type of love that he shares with Katie Joe is a beautiful thing, and I want everybody to be able to experience that. But you have to take a risk. You have to be willing to take that gamble. And so I get it, Dr. Zoe. I get it. I totally do. But a lot of good women hold back from giving a man their best when that may be the man, and then they give a whole lot to a man that ain't even really a man. You know what I'm saying? And you learn that through experiences, you know?
Right.
So don't be afraid to take those experiences. You know, it is what it is. But as soon as you find out he garbage, move on.
Cut him.
Cut him off.
Cut him.
Cut it. Cut
I think that's
Cut
the
it.
biggest problem that everybody has, right? Is the fact of letting somebody go. Because sometimes, whether man or woman, when it comes to that point, they're just, a man or a woman is going to say something like, but I put so much work into it. And that's where the difficulty starts happening, where you're stuck in that honeymoon phase for so long, you forgot to ask the questions, then everything finally stops and everything appears to the bad stuff. And then all of a sudden you're just like, but I put in the work, or I made him that special dish already. Good Lord, I can't undo that no more. And so that's the biggest question. But but at the very same time, is like, what do you do from there? How do you end things? And for some reason, kids are easier at breaking up with people, but as adults, it's that whole, loss and gain that we have. Most adults are worse at breaking up with people and letting people go.
Yeah, true.
That's why you see these long relationships for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. If you've been with that man for 6 years, he hasn't popped a question on you. He's never going to pop a question because you gave everything for free.
Man,
5 years. It doesn't take all, all day to recognize sunshine.
Hold on now. I disagree. It took 7 years for me to put the ring.
But you are an outlier, my friend. That's the thing. We cannot use the outlier, the one-offs. It's like the same exact thing. Woman says, but Janet over there found her man. But that's Janet. It's not, at the majority, and people need to stop using the outliers as a potential stuff. But more than likely, you and your significant other had conversations. You talked about it. You actually planned. You guys planned it out. Whereas some women are like, I think he's gonna marry me. Yeah. Like, did he say he's gonna marry you? Well, he says he wants to have a house together. Having a house together is not a marriage. Having a kids together is not a marriage.
Ignoring those red flags is not going to lead to a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people do that too, man. A guy will give red flags up front, but a lot of times women will ignore that. You know what I'm saying? Man, you see those flags, man, let it go.
Girls are gonna say, but he puts it down good in the bedroom.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
like
an issue. Yeah, that's a problem.
Hey, that might be a problem, but that's realistic though.
It is.
I mean, especially when you have somebody who isn't used to being with someone who's going to meet other types of needs other than their sexual needs.
Right.
So you run into those people who all they've met are people who can get down with them in the bedroom. That's it. And then they don't know how to deal with someone who might also be, besides being able to be good in the bedroom, might also be able to cook, or might also be a good person for them to be with. So a lot of times you have some women who they don't understand. They're not ready for those types of relationships.
True.
You have guys that are the same way. Guys that go out there looking for that one thing, and everything else be damned. And they're willing to sacrifice the good years of their life chasing that thing between her legs, when you need to be chasing that wife. You need to find somebody who you can spend the rest of your life with. And these are all things. Like I've been in a relationship with someone who it didn't work out. That taught me so much. And I hate that it didn't work out, but I wouldn't be the person that I am today without that. And that made me learn the different things that I needed to do to be successful in a relationship. The amount that I need to give, the effort and the work that I need to put in on a daily basis. So you have to go through those bad things in order to reach that mountaintop at the end. I feel like Dr. King in here.
Come on now.
Please. You gotta dig deep.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go to the depths of hell in order to raise to the heights of heaven. Okay, but on a real note though, yeah, you really have to go through those bad things, and there's a lot of people now, man. That's why, okay, and I'm speaking on the behalf of women now. This is stuff that I don't really I can't say that I can officially speak on, but from what I see, there are a lot of women who are very discouraged and that are very they feel like they can't find a man. They feel like there aren't good men out there. There are. I think you just have to be willing to find them. And then if you can't find them, maybe you need to take a look at yourself and see what image that you're projecting to different people. And if you can't, if you believe the problem is that you can't find a man, maybe the problem is you. Because I believe that there are good men out there. There are a lot of good men out there. And there are some men who need a little shining up. They might be a little dusty, a little bit of rusty around the edges, might need a little Vaseline on their knees, might need a little extra toothpaste. But if you shine them up real nice and real pretty, you have a good man. So you have to be willing to not always look at perfection as well.
No, I want us to hold that. JD, you went to a segue that I didn't think we were going to get to tonight, but I think we're going to have to do that right now. But before we do that, though, hey, y'all, the chat is popping. Do y'all see?
Can't even keep up.
It's hard. I'm like reading, and I'm on Instagram, making sure people are knowing. And
yeah, chat is popping. People, keep it up here. Another thing too for people in the chat, we're seeing the questions here. So if you got something and you want to chime in extra, throw it in here. We're going to try to get to these questions now that you guys going. There was a couple ones that we missed, but hey, whatever you have here, put it on the screen here. One question was asked I saw was about one woman. I don't know if that was Farsight. Hey, can you confirm your question there? I just want to see what you were talking about there. So once again, Zoe, you wanted to chime in on JD right there?
Yes, because I wanted to say in terms of, I would say that it's a state of crisis. Women, I do primary care, so a lot of my patients are women between the ages of 18 and 44. And I'm telling you that hearing over and over that there are not very many men and that only 26% of women are getting married. When you hear things like that, it starts to create a sense of 26% of Black women. It starts to create a sense of panic. It's almost like when you heard how many people are getting their houses broken into on the street, in the community bulletin, you're just like, oh, let me start locking my doors. You start getting panicked and you want to get the Brink system and the cameras. That's how we are feeling emotionally. A lot of women feel a sense of urgency and stress. And I think I mentioned it before, that the idea of I did all the things that I was supposed to do. I was supposed to go to school. I was supposed to get my education. I was supposed to be self-sufficient. And now I look up at 38 and time is running out and I don't have my man yet. And I don't have the package of what I thought it would be like. And so I would say, I remember I used to do this thing with my girlfriends when I was single. I would say, I wish I could build a man, like build a bear workshop. I could take all the things, make me a man from all the men I've met or have been with in the past. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times we have to reflect on, instead of just throwing the experiences and saying this dude was trash, I think it's important to actually see what things did you like and what things did you miss? Because sometimes these are not the same things you found cute in the beginning. later on, it's that very thing that breaks people up. Because they're ignoring because of the sex. It's cute because he's putting it down. Oh, he doesn't answer his phone for 3-4 days at a time, and it ends up being very stressful later on when those same traits start to haunt you. So I often will say, let us be rational and decisive. Let us understand what we are dealing with and make sure that you don't ignore the red flags. But the urgency that we're seeing, it doesn't have to be so panicked because there are still a lot of great guys out there. There's still a lot of men out there that want to be married. It's just going to take you as women understanding that they're not all going to look like what you see on television. They're not all going to be a Russell Wilson. They're not all going to be a Johnny Dangerous or a JD. Or David. It's just, you're going to have to realize that the Mykes of the world are few and far in between. You're going to have to really look at what are the 80-20 rule. What are the things that I know I can't live without? And what things do I need to let go of? Not to settle, but to understand, you have to have some real hardcore deal breakers, stick to those. And when that person doesn't fit it, let's go ahead and understand that it's time to be out.
Hey, so I got to push back on you there. Got to push back on
Okay.
one of the things in the middle there you said there. Women need urgency. You say create anxiety? Y'all need that anxiety. Wait, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can definitely hear.
Okay, I saw it. Had some dead noise here. Okay, good. So women need this urgency because let's just keep it 100 here. The dating game, how you want to say it, this game of life, however you want to coin it, there's not many of us out here. It is a hardcore competition. And for women, it's a finite amount of time for you to get your man for if you want to get all you can get. And we know you can't get all you can get, but if you can try to get everything on that checklist, it needs to be urgency. It needs to happen sooner. Let's put some numbers down. These are facts, people. Blackdemographics.com and the CDC. Blackdemographics.com is for Black people by Black people. All right, check that website out if you want some real numbers along with the CDC. You know what? Matter of fact, because I said that there, I'm putting down on the banner there. All right, Blackdemographics.com. Get your numbers there. Right. So there's 340 million Americans in this country. Right. Let's just break it down to the macro level. And on top of that, we have 14.7% Black people. Let's just highball to 15%, right? Out of that number, there's 27 million men in the country. Out of that 27 million men, the number breaks down to 52% to 48% women to men. I mentioned on a previous show that if every legally binding man could get married today, there will still be 2 million single Black women out here today. If the time this guy right now, whoever was, they turn 17 or 18, and then the guy before he's on the incubator bed and before he goes beat, but he can legally say I do, there will still be 2 million single Black women out there. So what's that telling you, ladies? The numbers are not with you. So there should be urgency. There should be anxiety, because if men, and I'm saying this, men know this, they're exercising their options. So if they're exercising your options, you need to be the best that you can be if you want that.
As long as you speak on the difference between urgency and desperation.
I didn't say desperation.
I know. I'm just saying. I just want you to speak on that because those are two different things.
Well, there's a thing to it, and so I want to get you to chime back and being the woman here on this.
Mm-hmm.
You should know that. Well, you should know what is being discussed is that women are being taught to get your education, and then live your life, have your hot girl summers, and then you can go ahead and find your man in your 30s. By the time that happens, it's too damn late. Why can't we have women do both? Why can't you date your man and handle your school at the same time? Because let's just keep it 100. And I asked you this question on a private call. A lot of your friends were married right after college, right? As soon as they were dating girls in college, they were dating in college or engaged and then got married. But we saw far and few that were just hanging out. So I'm gonna have my hot girl summer. They were prioritizing both things here. So when you get to your 30s and our men are saying, hey, there's more of y'all than me, I'm gonna see the one who's gonna rock with me the best. So women, if you understand that, you know that the odds and numbers are against you and it's time to take urgency. Zoe, what do you say about that?
Man, I'm telling you right now, there is a level of, when you talk about urgency, and I feel like the 28-year-old who is aware has urgency. The 35-year-old is getting stressed and somewhat desperate.
Actually, 35, you're too late, technically.
I know, but that's where you see that.
And then let me. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off. One thing too, you said you didn't have your man. You do. You just had an unsuccessful situation at one time, though, right? So
but my journey with that is when I was in med school, I was also thinking for me, the complete package of who I am would be to be a wife and a mother and a doctor. So I was actually also looking to be married. And if I met somebody who didn't want to get married anytime soon, I wasn't interested. Because I mean, what are we doing now? Are we just hanging out? I have no time to hang out. My time is my most limited resource. So if I meet somebody and all they want to do is hang out and be this loose thing that's amorphous and not going anywhere, I can't do it. A lot of women don't understand that it's okay to be discriminatory about these things. By saying to a man,
discriminatory about what?
I'm looking to get married. Are you looking to get married?
Okay.
No? Okay, I'm good. We can't be friends. I don't have any time to invest in this friendship. I have friends already. I'm looking for a man to build a life with. And that's okay to say that, but it's also okay to make it known that you are looking. So somebody doesn't think it's casual when it's not. Because the problem when we talk about communication is if that man thinks it's casual and you think 3 years later, it can't be casual because I met his mom. We go on trips together. No. You're just a consistent casual relationship. It doesn't mean it's going anywhere. The other part of it is I also, I got divorced and then I started to date again when I felt ready to get back out there and date again. But how I date, I feel like I was dating not as a woman who's like, oh, well, oh Lord, I was dating like a woman who has no stress about having kids because I already did that. No stress about buying a house. I already have a house. I'm able to date and really pick somebody based on what I need for me, and date on not a sense of urgency, but a sense of I'm looking for a life companion. And what I found is because I'm not dating with that sense of urgency, a lot more men were interested because I didn't grill them on like I was. So what's your 5-year plan? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are you doing?
You're trying to run them away right there. That's your 5-year plan. What the?
Yes,
it's not with you.
Yeah, a lot of women it's like a human resources interview these days. They want to know up front what your plan is. Where do you see this going? Are you looking for a wife? Have you been married before? How do you view raising? They're asking these things by day 2, day 3.
You didn't answer my question.
What was
the numbers that I gave to you? Shouldn't women feel urgency knowing that one, you say you don't like it, but these are facts. So 1 out of every 4 Black women is going to get married, right? The fact that there's 51% of Black men out here who are single and ready to get married, 65% are in the middle class here, but women aren't checking for them here. And women saying there's no urgency and the dudes are here. And if I gave you these numbers that there's 2 million more women that's ready to be married than men, and men know this here, and then especially Black men, I'm saying 65% are in the middle class. There should be urgency, yes or no?
I'm saying there's crisis. The urgency exists. It needs to be urgency. It should be urgency when you're moving into your first apartment after college. But then we get into our 30s and now we're at crisis mode. And then we get into a complete psychological stress because now you feel like, am I good enough? Am I going to measure up? All these factors go into your decision and all these factors go into your relationship, which adds pressure. I have a really good friend. He's a single man in the East Coast where men are, oh Lord, a man can trip over one woman and fall on the next one. And this man is literally saying, I wanted a specific kind of woman. What he wanted in a woman, I once told him does not exist. Well, he found 5 of them. He wanted a woman who was research-oriented, published, well-read, cultured, great body.
That right there is perfect because, like you said, there, he found 5 of them because a lot of women think that there is not that perfect woman for a man. So they're like, oh, he's not going to find that. But men will find that. But let's remove urgency. Let's remove desperation from the word. Let's just remove that. The word that needs to be used is purpose. I don't think people live with a purpose of what they need to do in life. Let's remove the urgency because that's, that's right there. When you use the urgency, it's going to trip people off. Purpose. People don't have purpose. And it goes for both men and women. And unfortunately, like Dr. Zoe explained earlier was that talking about the thing though is for the women that are freaking out and stuff like that is number one, is like when I teach sales and marketing to people, I teach men normally in sales, and I teach guys and say, I want you to sell your services like you want to sleep with that person. That's how you need to be able to work on that. But at the same time, as for relationship wise, you have to treat it like a business. The thing though is, number one is they don't have purpose. They don't know what real type of man they have that they want in life. That's one big problem. In marketing, you have to have a target. You have to niche it down and figure out. You can't just say, I want all the men, or I want all black men, all Latinos, all Boricuas out there and stuff like that. No. What type of man do you want? Niche it down, figure it out. Then once you have that idea of your target market, then you need to look at your presentation. Just going by the bonnet situation that you guys had a conversation, the other week and stuff like that. Going out in public with it, if you're single and you're in the purpose of trying to meet a man, every single second of your life, there's an opportunity to meet that man. And when you don't put yourself out there the way how a man is going to get attracted to you, then you might lose, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours a day. You're out there in the public in the bonnet. That there were multiple potentials that was there in front of you that you did not attract. Number two is women are too closed off. Let's be honest. Women are closed off. They don't even know how to smile on a person. They don't even know how to be able to just, and the thing is, single women keep women single. So if you're among other single women, guess what? And you're in your 30s, you're single for the rest of your life, unless you start hanging out with the people who are in relationships. Now, the thing is, let's go back to urgency of this. Women don't understand that men, and this whole men have options. Let's change it. Men, it's global. Men can find women everywhere now. And that is the biggest problem of a lot of American women nowadays. They don't understand that men are not, it's not about what race you are. It's like more than men are sick and tired of Americanized women. That's the biggest problem. Right? We go back to the food stuff. Men will find themselves somebody who is of a different ethnicity. You have your Latinos, you have your Asians, your Filipinos. Men are looking elsewhere now, ladies. Here, and that's what we need to be able to understand is that it's no longer a guy can find a woman, like you said, your friend in the East Coast, he has everything over there, but he still has the option to find a person in the West Coast. But women are only thinking about, this is my area. And that, I think, is one of the biggest mistakes that women are doing, is that all of a sudden you think that you're original when you have about 200, 300 copies out there that I can find within a matter of a few block radius. And that, I think, is one of the biggest problems. And the urgency wise, let's just talk about health. Geriatric pregnancies are coming out. Women have this thing. My favorite time back in the days when I was in Arizona was finding myself a bunch of 30-year-old women, because I can sleep with a 30-year-old woman the very same day. It was so easy, because they're going to start talking about, it's easy to find a man to marry. No, it's not. Okay, let's talk about it. And I would purposely make them depressed a little bit, just for the fun of it. Oh, you're 30 years of age. Oh, it's easy to find a man to marry you? Okay, so how long have you been looking for a man? Oh, I've been looking for a man for a year. Okay, so you think you're going to find your man within the next so-and-so? Yeah, I can find. Okay, so there's about, let's say, 10,000 good available men in the area at this very moment. How many of them are married? Oh, maybe 5,000, half. You're down to 5,000 men. After those 5,000 guys, how many of them have a girlfriend? Oh, maybe you're down to 2,500 potential men right now. Oh, now you have 2,500 men. How many of them are in this bar right now? None. At the very same time as if you meet a man, how long do you have to date him before you marry?
Me.
Right? I would literally do this to almost every single woman. I would say, okay, let me ask this quick question. All right. So right now, how long do you have to meet a man before you want to marry him? Oh, I want to date him for like 2 years. Okay, so now you're 32. Perfectly fine. And then once you guys actually meet up, when do you want to have a baby? Well, I want to be able to travel the world for a couple years and then have this and then buy a house. And I'm like, so pretty much your baby's about to die on you because you're 36 about to give up, before you're about to, and then they get like, oh my God, you're so right. Oh, by the way, don't you like blondes and blue eyes like you told me earlier? Yeah. Where is there a person right next to me right now that's a blonde and blue-eyed man at this moment that fits your description? No. And then the worst part about lady is, who's the one giving you attention?
Me, that's who. Myk.
One in this
Panty
bar.
dropper.
And then she's trying
And
to
then
interact.
Myk, like, you ready to get out of here?
Hey,
That's the
Mike
thing. It's
just
that
gave the
Daddy.
4 minutes.
women say, I want a blonde and blue eye guys. No, that's the thing. It's like open your eyes, ladies. And I think it goes the same exact way for men. Open your eyes as well, man, and say, be like, listen, that girl is not going to be for you. And like I said, you don't understand. Look at who the guys are looking at now. And just because that guys stare at these type of women, that does not mean that those are the type of women we want to marry. True. We just want to spread their legs open, and that's it. We don't want to marry a Kim Kardashian or so forth and stuff like that. Nobody wants to marry Saweetie. Now, mind you, look at Saweetie, for example. Her mother is not black. She's Filipino. Look at, HER, her. She's Filipino. That's the thing. Women are not understanding. Let's go with the African American culture and stuff like that. Women don't understand that your competition is not just the white chicks out there. So when Dave gave that numbers early on today, there's going to be, if everyone matches up, there's still 2 million that are not going to be married. It's more all over the world now because the fact is people are now choosing that they have more than options. And the thing though is people need, number one, men need to put their butts to work, find ways to be able to make themselves more successful, stop hiding in your mother's basement. And women at the very same time is get the hell out of the house and actually show yourself and present yourself to men and be open. That's my biggest problem and stuff like that. When I see women and when I see men, when you guys should just be together and enjoying yourself and meeting people and stuff like that. And nobody wants to meet people anymore. And it sucks. That's the only thing I can say about that. It's like, put your best foot forward, dress up, look pretty. You don't have to put on makeup. You don't have to I'm a certified, I can actually give lip fillers. I'm certified for it. I'm trained for it. And it's annoying when I see beautiful women that were asking me to do lip fillers and Botox on them. And I'm like, and this was in Arizona. I was like, man, girl, you're beautiful. Yeah, maybe you need a boob job, but that doesn't mean, just like, my thing is just that it's Arizona, Scottsdale. What do you expect? But I'm just saying is that lip fillers, really? And then now we have butt fillers? I don't know, man.
Let's talk on that for a little bit. I would like to hear everyone's sort of opinions on the ever-changing definition of beauty. I think that beauty right now is something that is, well, it's always in the eye of the beholder, as they say. But I believe as time has gone on, more people are willing to, how can I say it? Buy beauty, create artificial beauty. And when you have those types of ideals, like there's always this, this guy or, a guy or a girl, let's say that. I feel like, I feel like all the time I end up speaking on the behalf of women, but this is in my idea. I feel like women have this sort of view and idea of what they think beauty is, and that a lot of them feel as though they can't aspire to that. Men, I feel on the other hand, we realize in general, I'm speaking in generalities, I feel like men more so as a whole realize their worth. They realize that they don't have to be in tip-top shape. They don't have to be the most handsome guy on the block in order to get a woman who they feel is beautiful. And I think that women, on the other hand, have so many self-esteem issues that they don't view themselves as being beautiful. Like for me, you don't have to be the skinniest person. You don't have to be this, like Stevie said in the chat, there's this idea that, like somebody like Kim Kardashian, that's what guys want. No, I might want to fuck that, but that's not what I want to have as a wife. That's not something that I would want as a partner, because outside of that beauty, what's there behind that? And outside of that, those, the diaper booty that she got, outside of the fake boobs that she got, where's the person that's behind that? Now I don't know her, so maybe there is that depth there. But I mean, I saw the Ray J sex tape and that put her on. And from that point on, I was like, I mean, yeah, I might like to watch it, but after that point, like, I'm not inviting her to come over to my crib, like
She
to
was
go hang out
Brandy's
with my
closet
mom.
organizer.
Right? Exactly. And look at where that has taken her. And I know we kind of talked about this a little bit last week too, and how we jumped into how people are able to understand the value in a last name, and how she was able to socially climb the ladder on the back of men that she's been with. And is that necessarily okay, I don't agree with this, but is that necessarily a bad thing? Is it bad for a person to capitalize on the person that they're with? If you were able to, somehow, some way grab a person who you feel is out of your league, but you were able to get them, is it bad to capitalize on that? Is it bad to say, like, man, I don't feel like I should have got this person, but since I got him, it's okay, right?
Man,
I don't think you. For me, I don't think it's right to use anyone, from a man using a woman to capitalize on them to move himself up, and just at the same time as for women to use men. I think that's a problem. Is like people started looking at people as objects nowadays, and I think that's the slippery slope. But the perfect way to look at it is look at her relationship. She can never keep one. So I mean, those type of people are the ones, and that's the thing. Women do all these things. They don't do this for men anymore to look good. Women do it for pretty much for metrics in their Instagram pages. Women look good for other women because women need the validation from other women to say that, oh my God, that looks good on you. And I think that's where is the problem, is that women are trying to be like who they think the guys are salivating over. But what they don't understand is, like you said earlier, is that we don't want to marry those women. We just want to look at them. And that, I think, is the problem, is that women are starting to think that if I be like her, if I get the lip fillers, if I get, the booty cement, that I can actually end up getting those men. And the worst part about it, it's the wrong type of men, because once again, they did not have purpose on what type of men that they should be getting for. They want everything that's good. What they don't ask themselves is, what are the bad things and bad qualities about this man that I'm willing to accept if I'm gonna marry this man? Because people are so worried about all the values that he has, what he has to offer, all that stuff. The thing though is, can you accept that he snores at night? Can you accept that you wake up, that you have saliva all over your cheeks because your man drooled on you? Can you understand that he every now and then he wears some tidy whities and he might get some brown streaks up on that you might have to put in the damn laundry room? But no, women don't want to look at, they want to look at the metrics. I don't know. But like I said, no one should use anybody, man or woman. I think it shows weakness on a person if they do that.
Yeah, man, a lot of great points, man. It's a lot that I agree with in here, and a lot that I may be hearing for the first time. Dr. Zoe, rewinding it back a little bit, in regards to, you talking with a man or listen to a man and get kind of giving them that quiz that you have, to find out if they're even interested in it, getting married and whatnot. That's important. It's critical. It's critical. Dave mentioned something as far as, scaring men off. True. A lot of men, even if they ultimately want to become married, having that conversation on the first, second date can kind of make a man like, oh, damn, she already talking about marriage. She ain't even made me a damn sandwich yet. Damn, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to be mindful of that. But at the same time is of the essence. It's unfortunate, the balance and the unfairness. We live in an unfair world, period. I think all of you guys would agree with that. Life is unfair. It's unfair that women outnumber men. It's unfair. It's not fair. But because of those numbers, they actualize into something real, meaning that a man that's established, that has a little bit of money, he ain't even got to look great. He ain't even got to look good. He can be ugly. If he got money and he got some type of status, like Mikey was saying, the world is his. He can go wherever he want to go, when he want to go, and get whoever he want to get. And if he can't get her, I'm gonna get somebody like her. You know what I'm saying? So it's an unfair world that we live in. This has been my ideology. In an unfair way, unfortunately, as men get older and become more established and be in career, finances, their stock value goes up. Doesn't matter how they look, their stock value goes up. Women, as time goes on, as that clock continues to tick, as time goes on, no matter how established they are, they can kind of compete with it, but their stock value slowly goes down. That's the unfair world that we live in. It doesn't matter how good she looks. It doesn't matter how much money she has. It doesn't matter if she's self-made. It doesn't matter what her title is. The imbalance is there, that men's stock value goes up if they're established, and women theirs goes down because they have that clock that they're fighting against. One of our guests in the comments were mentioning that, men are working towards finances and women are working towards that reproductive, clock. And then some women are completely out of the game when it comes to reproducing, And so most men do want to have a child with the woman if they don't have any kids, to continue their name on, which we talked about that in our last show. It's the unfair world that we live in, and there's an imbalance there. But everybody has to understand that. We convince ourselves, we trick ourselves into believing things that are not factual. The first thing is recognizing the facts. If you realize the facts, you can work. You can do some things to establish yourself and work in time to gain whatever you want to gain. But if you ignore the facts, then you're ultimately chasing a dream, a false reality, and that's where people need to grasp a hold of themselves. It's hard to learn to love someone else and give that person what they need if you don't know what you need yourself, if you don't love yourself enough. And it's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, that do not love themselves. There is no key to anything, but there's life lessons to everything. And if you can open your mind up to learn from every experience, good, bad, or indifferent, then you open your mind up to an opportunity to becoming a better you. And once you become a better you and you continue to grow, you can acquire whatever it is that you want in this life, whether you're a man or a woman. Just realize that we live in an imperfect world. And that means that you don't have to be perfect. A lot of us men, like Mike was talking about, man, we like to look at a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? We like to look at it, but we ain't trying to wife it. We ain't trying to wife it. These big eyelashes that y'all women like to wear, I don't give a damn about them eyelashes. They don't mean nothing. Unless I'm in a hot climate and I'm trying to get cool. You can sit next to me and you can me down. You know what I'm saying? You're doing long-term things to your body for a short-term gain in a man. Get that. Think about that. You're doing long-term things to your body that's only going to result in a short-term gain. And it might just only be that night. And the next night, another man. And another, I'm not calling women, that do that a hoe or anything like that. I'm just saying, just think about this, that the type of man that you want is not going to come from you putting surgery into your body. Unless you just looking for a sugar daddy. Sugar daddy, old school, old cat with a big bag. He might want a woman that got all of that. He might pay for all of that. But we're talking about the type of man that's got some substance, that's going to be there for you emotionally, spiritually, and all those different things, and not just lead you with his money, but lead you with his life, with his heart, to give you his all. That type of man is not going to care about none of that. It's going to be about what you bring to the table as far as providing him. If you can make that man feel like, and not so much as feel like, but if you can provide that man with nourishment, whatever that means, whatever defines nourishment to that man, if you give him substance, then that man will be willing to live for you or die for you. And you need to always keep that in mind. But love and growth starts right here first. And you got to do that. I just wanted to share that.
Man, John, I wanted to say something, and you said a lot of the stuff I was going to say. I'm like, man, I'm not going to be able to talk right now. This dude here.
My bad, bro.
No, it's all good, though. But, I wanted to add a little bit to that, though, where you were so right on about men getting to their peak here when they get older and women. And, of course, I'll pose it back to the lady on the panel, Zoe, after I say a few things here. Men get older and look like Sean Connery, and women get older and look like Sean Connery.
Oh shit!
I hate you. I can't believe you. Oh,
I had to turn off my volume, and I had to say a bad word, man, because that caught me off guard, man.
I mean, up to the fact that Sean Connery passed away, the women didn't matter if y'all were black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Filipino. So he was like 91 years old. Y'all wanted some Sean Connery. And here's the thing, though. I seen Sharon Stone dating a 25-year-old rapper, and she's starting to look like Sean Connery right now. As much as I love Sharon, she got them gold teeth and wearing a ski mask looking like Sean right now. I'm like, God, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just using that example, but it's I'm using that joke as an analogy that when men want women, the preferred age is between 20 and 27, and the average age is 22, right? But guess what that age is for men wanting that? Between 18 to 64. So think about it, ladies. When I was talking about the urgency and what y'all need to do, if like Myk E and John were stating earlier, if you have a man that's high value, he is older, he's in his late 30s, 40s, and he's hitting his prime as far as his earning potential, who's he gonna choose? It's universal. He's gonna get to that 20 to 27, but the peak number is 22. So when we talk about when we say we choose urgency or use these different words or whatever the word we want to coin it for this episode here, we have to look at the fact that men are looking at a certain finite area if you are not locking us down at a certain point. And so that's why I was bringing about the balance. Going to school, and if you're supposed to go to college to get your man, you get your education and you get your man. So by the time you graduate, you go ahead and get that IKEA love struggle and you build together after the fact. But what happens is women graduate and dump their man. Like, I'll find another one. I'm good, girl. Hot girl summer. And what happens? 31. Let me go start looking real hard now. But you know what, though? That dude you could have had that struggle love with at IKEA, what's he doing now? He's 35. He's on the way to being director, making 6 figures. He's part of that 8% elite level club. And then you give him a call. Come on now. Ain't going to work.
Hey, real quick, Dave. So where, and I'm asking this to Dr. Zoe, where's that disconnect in? Like, why don't women understand that fact that, like, okay, maybe I should stick it out with this guy as opposed to ditching him, thinking that you're going to find something else, and then realizing that at a certain point you're past your prime and it's too late. Like, where's that disconnect? Where's that? Like, who's feeding that sort of that part of the relationship between a man and a woman? Where's that disconnect come from?
Good question.
So I think that it comes back to how, and it's cultural. It's completely cultural, but it comes back to also how we date, how we're allowed to get that freedom to choose. A lot of I can speak about the Black community. A lot of young Black women aren't told that they can date as teenagers because then you're fast. You're out there loose in the streets. So they have to wait till they're older. And then the idea of, well, this is maybe the first or second boyfriend and I'm 22. I don't know yet. You can really see a lot of women also not being sure because just like David said, when you are 22 fresh out of college, the 45-year-old is trying to holler at you too. So then the 22-year-old who's putting together IKEA furniture, there's a 45-year-old that's trying to holler at you. You're not at that age able to discern the discernment You're not able to tell who's legit and who's not yet because you haven't had a lot of time dating. Don't have that experience. And many times women will gamble for somebody they believe can give them exposure, somebody who has a car already versus the guy on the bus. And women have, there was one of the housewives on Real Housewives of Atlanta mentioned that she is offered, she said, I get offered dick all the time, is what she said. I go to the mailbox, kid, you want some dick? She goes to the grocery store, you want some dick? A 22-year-old woman who doesn't have a thing but a cute face gets hollered at by all these men from all these ages, just like David said. Men from 18 to 64 are trying to talk to this one person. And so many times they choose the wrong one, right? How do you know? You're 22. Then you end up with that bad experience, or maybe it worked out for you, but most of the time it's a bad experience. But that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be learning. The ones who have very little experience seeing functional relationships may not know what a healthy functional relationship looks like because you didn't see a model of that. So how can you tell who would be a good man for you if you haven't seen successful relationships as well? So it comes back to that dynamic of you haven't seen people fight and argue in a healthy way. So you may not know how to fight and argue in a healthy way. You haven't seen people commit and what that looks like. So you don't know what commitment looks like. You also might be told by family, hey man, get the bag, get that money. A lot of young women are being told, don't go for the same dude. So some women don't get the best advice and they choose based on infatuation, resources, physical appearance. Somebody who seems exciting, they may not be looking down the road at, okay, because I tell people all the time, the man that a woman will like at the age of 40 and the man that a woman liked at 22, totally different. When you're 22, you like Future. When you're 40, you like Russell Wilson.
Okay. Let me chime in on that. I want to piggyback to what Zoe said, but what JD asked that question, the answer is what Mikey said earlier. Single women are keeping single women single. And the thing is that all these single women who are like I said, it stems back to the beginning, how we get into this post here, this kind of this show here. I am seeing nothing but women comment, and they're not getting any input from men. Single women keeping other single women single, and then when we chime in, we are wrong. No, they don't want to listen to us. Let me give some other information here for the ladies. That's when I go back to the urgency talk here, and when we look at the age difference here. Like I said, when we level up, we look at a certain thing here. Women have to look at that competition factors, though, right? Because at 20, like I said, when I go back to 22 and 25, if all the men here are single, and then we see that 35-year-old woman who says she has a PhD and got a college degree and got everything going here, we don't care about that. Let's get to the facts of it. How many times we see a successful man marry a secretary? What is the number one thing that men want? Man, we just want some. We really want
a sandwich.
Oh yeah,
sandwich, man.
Compromise. We don't want to have all the extra drama. A 24-year-old ain't gonna give us that drama to a 35-year-old. Let's keep it fact, because you know why? 35-year-old woman, she got a lot of miles on her from life, whether good or bad. The miles can dictate how you treat that man. So if you are 35, 40 years old, fellas, right? And then you out here in the market, that 24-year-old, she's whether you agree with this or not, she's looking at things in a different way than that 35, 40-year-old woman. So for ladies, when you get that man, don't throw him back out to the river. How many black women are the queens of getting engaged but never married? How many women do we all know here? So I've been engaged this many times, but how many times they got that ring? When you get the engagement ring, you got the dude. Why you think that you're going to have so many more options? Once again, 1 out of 4 black women get married. So when you keep throwing them back, what's that is? That's karma. You can only throw that back into the river so many times before that river gets dry. And go ahead.
It goes back to the whole thing about, I think it's not about, like when we tell women, don't throw that man back and stuff like that, because, that might be only a chance. I would take it to the other part where I think that what if the guy really is a bad person? Because that's a counter argument of a woman.
Yeah.
A counter argument of a woman is what if that guy's a bad person? And look, there's a lot of messed up dudes out there. I'm not gonna say that women are the fault and men are right. Look, there's bad people on both sides.
Right.
And so the biggest problem is, like, before you freaking throw in the hook, the bait, like, choose. I mean, before you throw in, the hook in the water for the ladies wise, choose the right bait that you want to use so you can catch the right fish. The thing though is, that's the thing. It's just that it starts becoming something where you need to get the Louis Vuitton bag, you need to get the Hermes bag and stuff like that. And but yeah, like Dr. Zoe said, is that women don't have the rights. They don't see the right type of relationships out there. But at the very same time, is look at where they actually do know the type of relationships that they want because of what type of shows they watch. When you start looking at Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, when you start watching the Kardashians, when you start looking at Saweetie, when you start looking at all these different things, I'm just like, for me, wise, I'm sick and tired of women or even men saying that, I made a mistake. No, you made the right decision because that was your choice then. Stop saying you made the wrong decision. Own your stuff up. Right? You made it was the right decision for that very moment. So it's not the wrong decision. Because if you did know it was wrong, you would not have done it at all. So have some accountability with it. But yeah, it's just, let's not just say women need to stop throwing men back, because that's still not fair as well. Because what if the dude really is?
Mike, I'm not saying that. And for this conversation, I'm not excusing bad behavior.
So that's off the table. Good guy. Okay, got it.
So if we can have another conversation about bad behavior. That I want to get into, but we don't have time for that tonight. Sure. But I'm not adding the bad behavior aspect of it. I'm adding the aspect that I know I've had tons of conversations with other friends and people I've been worked with where that dude was a good dude. He was a nerd.
He was too nice.
He was too nice. I will be honest. I don't know how many times in high school I was told, McDave, you the guy I'll marry, but not right now.
Right here. That was me, man.
And I see them, and I see some of these girls on Facebook now, and they outweigh me 2 times. Put that out there.
Hey, Dave. Go ahead. You've met my first girlfriend, right? You remember Mary? Like she's triple my size now, man.
Oh, wow.
So I got away from that one.
You did good on that one. But I don't want any bad behavior. But that's another conversation. But for this conversation here, we're talking about if you have that guy, if he could be a nerd, he could be he's boring and lame. You know what's gonna happen at 45? You want to be boring. You want the lame dude. You chilling. You tired from that long day at work, right? So we talking about you come home we go back to the cooking the sandwich. That boring dude is right there being boring with you watching Blackish.
But it's the whole it's the whole Captain Fix-A-Dick. That's what it is. It's like you want the good one, but at the same time as you want to be able to tame it as well. Yeah. And that I think is and exactly you are choosing and picking and trying to catch the wrong fish. And last time I checked, the nerd right here, and that's why I tell people the nerd is the one that's actually going to be able to put a roof over your head. The nerd, that dork, is the one that's going to be able to make sure that there's 3 meals plus a nice snack in the middle for you in the table. The nerd is the one who's going to watch freaking tutorials and lay it down to you in the bedroom because he learned what he needed to do. Not and that's the biggest thing, is that people are just going for the fast pleasure of things. And the nerd is the one that's going to buy you a freaking Louis Vuitton bag. And they're not just going to give you the used Louis Vuitton that you can get at whatever those used store places are, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna get you the 2020 edition to 2021. And that's the biggest thing, is that people want fast returns, want fast profits and stuff like that, when they're not looking at the long end. What's going to happen in the 10-year mark? Can this dude sustain himself? This dude that makes, I don't know, the guy prints t-shirts, right? That's his job, or he does this. Look, I sell t-shirts, but that's not my main hustle. So I think that's where it is that women just really need to start looking at what they need to find. And just going back with the whole stuff where single women keep women single. Do you think a man is going to approach a bunch of women at a club? It's not going to happen. But women love the fact I want him to hunt for me. No. Men want, the gazelle that's limping right now, the easy to catch, the one who got left behind already. It's women don't understand it, but women want. I want a guy who's going to approach me. You know who's going to approach you? The dude that's going to break your heart. Because that's a dude that don't care that there's 20 women that's surrounding you, and he knows how to handle a group of women. And that's the biggest thing. So women are like, oh my God, he approached me. He picked me, but that's the thing. No, he targeted you.
Man,
he targeted you. And I'm sorry to say that I've learned that way. I know how to do that stuff. I live that stuff. I knew and figured out, and I studied how to be able to assess women, how to be able to look at little things. I go to a club. I know where I'm going to find a girl easily that looks good, that can close easily. I've done all that. But that's the biggest thing is, why did I have to learn how to approach a woman? Because women made it hard. And so when a guy knows the trick and he does it to you, don't whine, don't complain that he broke your heart, because guess what? You started the game. Women created the rules. Men just figured it out.
That's a mic drop. Fellas.
Fire.
I wish I had gunshots.
Right here.
We're gonna touch some of that next show for real.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Hold that thought, man. Mike, you had a mic drop here to close that out here. So I'm going to let's close this show down. We've been going close to 2 hours here, man. Oh man, I'm glad, fellas and lady, that we were able to have this spirited discussion this week as well as last week. You know what? I'm going to take an executive vote. I think we should do this again next week.
About the same time, about the same channel.
John, you think we should do this?
I'm in.
JD,
I need my mug. I'm in.
Hey, you earned a mug.
You earned.
I got this, and I got this right here.
We ain't even got it.
I got soda and coffee right now, man.
We got y'all, man. It's coming.
Yeah. So let's bring this back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I want to give a special out to Mike, man, at his channel, Mike's Philippine Journey. Go ahead and check Mike out, man. Click like and subscribe. He's out here almost every other day, man, giving that great advice. Whatever you need, he's the hustle man over there. So shout out to Mike, man. That's my man, 50 grand. Go give that man some love in this channel. You're going back on the stream tomorrow, right, Mike?
Yeah, Tuesday, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays, man.
There's the plug there, man. That's Mikey working like that. Dr. Zoe, where can people find you at?
Find me at Myk Clinic on all social media.
Myk Clinic, that's right, because she got that Benz truck there that's pushing around, getting people COVID shots.
She does. That's awesome.
JD John, any final comments before we ride out here?
Man, personally, I just want to give love to the chat, man. They was rocking with us the entire night. Like, it's impossible to keep up with everybody, but man, just huge shout out, huge love to you guys, man. And if you like the show, make sure you tell somebody else that that you like the show and that they should like it too, and they should check it out. So like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, man. And just much love to everybody in the chat.
John.
Yeah, absolutely, man. To piggyback on what JD was saying, we appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. There's some of y'all that can tune in consistently, some of y'all that are fans and friends of Dr. Zoe and Mikey, and you guys have come here to see them with us, and so we appreciate that so much. We will be starting a Patreon real soon, guys. That gives you an opportunity to send us donations and whatnot. We're really trying to expand and grow our show to a whole nother level, and so your comments, your financial contributions, all those different things definitely contribute to the growth of the Jumpoff, and we appreciate that. And so we'll give you that opportunity to do that, and we appreciate whatever you guys may send. Mikey, Dr. Zoe, man, I can't express how much we really appreciate y'all. Y'all keep bringing fire back and back to people. By demand, wanted more time, and we got more time tonight, and so I'm so glad. And they want more time, so we're gonna come back and do this thing again. We love y'all and appreciate y'all. Dr. Zoe, you're the only woman on this panel holding it down every single time. A lot of respect for you. You represent very well, and we appreciate you. So for sure.
Thank you.
Good stuff, John. So let me just throw a couple things out there. Like you see in the bottom there, you can check us out on, if you can do the audio format, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're on all those formats here. We're on multiple video formats as well. You see us here on YouTube. I want to get a shout out again to our man Eduardo at Spengler Sports World, channels 249, 250, and 251. So we're not only here, we're also there on the Zingo TV app. It based in Canada. I just got to say this here. So when they checking this out here, we had a spike in that last show here. That's why we're going longer today. Out of nowhere in Canada, there was 135 views, 135,000 views from Friday to Monday morning from last week's episode. So we was like, yo, if we did an hour and that, we're going to do 2+ probably going forward here. So shout out to everybody in Canada on the Zingo TV app. I'm going to be calling y'all so we can check out these numbers there, and then we can go do some bigger things with the jump off here. So
English word.
Yeah, so shout out to Eduardo, man. Got mad love for our affiliates here. So on that note too, we can't forget about Jeff. He's not here, but he will have him back next week. He's on the plane, come back from Colorado, man. Shout out to Jeff, man. Big
yes, much love, much love.
So he been climbing mountains for real. Like
yeah,
he talk about mountains, JD talk about mountains tonight. Jeff is at the top of mountains tonight. So
and also too, for all the fans that are still in the chat here, if you have any other ideas or you want something to talk about here, you know, we have a whole week here. We're pre-planning stuff, but throw some out there and we might throw that in there for the next episode here. So on that note, I got Dr. Zoe, we got Johnny Dangerous, we got JD and Mike's Philippine Journey. I'm that dude named Dave, and we're out for Jump Off Live. See you next week.
Later, guys, gals.
Work that. You gotta